And now for something entirely different on the other side of the intro. Hi, I'm John Gilstrap, author of the Jonathan Grave Thriller series. And if you're tuned into this particular video expecting a writer's view on writing and publishing, you might want to move on, because what this video is actually about is a surgery I've got coming up, and I wanted to kind of give I guess a video blog about how my procedure is going to go. The procedure itself is called anterior cervical discectomy and fusion, ACDF. Essentially what that means is, because I have ongoing pain in my shoulder blade and all the way down into my left hand, to the point that it goes numb, or sometimes it feels like it's on fire. This has been going on for about a year now. And so what they're going to do is fix that problem, and here's how they do it. They're going to open up an incision somewhere in my neck. They're going to push all the trachea and esophagus off to the side, and they're going to remove 3 of the discs in my cervical spine and replace it with fusion material, bone that will be grafted from cadavers, I presume. And then over the course of 4 to 6 weeks, I get much better. Now, I know that, surgery is scary. I know that surgery is scary because I'm staring down the maw of it right now. So what I'd like to do in this video, excuse me, it'll be one video shot over a long period of time. What I'm going to do is just tell you what it's really like and give you the ins and outs. So, this is the end of episode 1, and we'll see how it goes. Next time, I'm going to have a bandage on. You take care. Keep reading. I'm John Gilstrap. And here we are, 4 days post-op. This is Monday, May 13th, 2019. I had my surgery on Thursday, May 9th, 2013. The surgery, by all accounts, went very, very well. The pain in my shoulder is completely eliminated. There's some phantom numbness in my left thumb still that I understand is going to go away. And what you see, folks, is the way I woke up in the hospital. My doctor, for whatever reason, it was 3-level discectomy and fusion. My doc does not believe in neck braces for whatever reason. You can talk to the medicos about that. So here's what has happened so far. The surgery went off without a hitch. As far as residual pain and discomfort, that sort of thing, obviously when you wake up from major surgery, I was out for over 4 hours. And then it's 2 hours in recovery, and that day, the day of the operation, is pretty much a blur, narcotic-induced haze. And then there was one night in the hospital, which was also uneventful. I'll tell you this, I was pretty clear with my doc that I don't like urinary catheters. All right, we're going to talk details here, right? So after I had gallbladder surgery about 10 years ago, I had some issues with urinary retention, and the urinary catheter actually caused me some problems. The only problems I had as a result of the surgery then were tied to the urinary catheter, and that's essentially, it was an external issue with the way it was taped down to my leg. So I'd mentioned this to the doc, fully anticipating I was going to wake up with one of these things, and it turns out that he took it out during while I was in the PACU, the post anesthesia care unit. And so I didn't wake up with that as an issue. I didn't wake up with any residual problems except that little phantom pain in my thumb that remains that will go away. It's in retrospect, actually, since we're talking about urinary catheterization, without it, you end up peeing a lot during the night while you're there in the hospital room, which essentially means swinging over the side of the bed and using one of those portable urinals, which I figured out how to use it after a while, but it was certainly an annoyance, and it also teaches you how to sit up after you've had surgery in your neck. I think one of the biggest problems I have with regard to residual issues is trusting my neck muscles to be okay doing whatever I want them to do. The doctor has assured me that I really can't hurt myself, short of falling down a flight of stairs or being in some auto accident or something. If you take a look at the surgical site itself, this is, as I said, Monday. This can come off on Wednesday. I can shower with it as it is. It's a little bit difficult because it's all taped down on my neck and it's uncomfortable. On Wednesday, this will come off. I presume the incision will then be exposed, but I have no restrictions in terms of showering or operations or anything else. You know, quite honestly, beyond the restriction of not being able to lift anything over 5 pounds, presumably for a period of time, that's more an inconvenience than it is troubling. It's a lot more inconvenient for my wife, quite frankly, than it is for me. The real issue, I will tell you, in terms of residual pain and discomfort has everything to do with swallowing. When they open you up, they pull all that stuff off to the side, and my esophagus, the food tube, feels bruised. It feels like it's been kicked real hard, and swallowing is a challenge. As in sips of water are a challenge, and certainly swallowing pills is a challenge. For the last 4 days, I've been surviving off of a lot of applesauce and some actually chicken in applesauce that helps it slide down. But that's really it, and it's getting better over time. We've only been 4 days, and look at me. I'm sitting up and I'm talking, and the first couple of days I was a zombie, and part of that is on purpose. I personally believe, you know, there's a lot of talk out there. You certainly don't want to have the opioid addiction issue and all that being a problem. I certainly don't want to have that in my life. What I worked out with my doctor was that, you know, my surgery was on Thursday, and through Sunday, I was going to take every single medicine I was given, which meant the oxycodone every 6 hours, and then there's Tylenol in the off hours. So every 3 hours I was taking medication, which just kind of left me kind of loopy. My last of the narcotic was last night, and I'm not in a lot of pain. I'm in discomfort, but not a lot of pain. So really, I don't know what else to tell you guys about this. The swallowing issue is a problem. I think I'm concerned about choking. I'm not sure that choking is, in fact, my doctor assures me that choking is really not in play in this case, because structurally everything is working the way it's supposed to. It just doesn't feel like it. I'm blessed to have a bed that actually adjusts to be sort of a recliner. So I've actually even been able to sleep in my own bed for these nights. Now, granted, it's tilted so that I'm nearly sitting straight up, maybe 45-degree angle lying back. And even then, you know, the first night, it was a real issue moving at all because it just hurt. But last night I noticed that I actually could sleep on my side, and I was able to adjust myself accordingly. And it didn't hurt. I find that if I move my head separately from my shoulders, if I don't move it as a unit, it's kind of uncomfortable, but it certainly is not painful. So for those of you who are considering this surgery and are concerned about all of the other videos you've seen at how terrible the recovery is, now granted, I'm 4 days into it, there's plenty of room for things to go wrong, but at this point, at 4 days in, you know, it's kind of been a cakewalk. I can, I'm a writer, right, obviously, so I need to watch my hands when I type. That's still not quite in my skill set because it's hard to look down. Again, it's not so much pain as it is, I think, nervousness on my part. But the remarkable change is in my left arm and hand. It's like all of that pain is completely gone. So that's it. I'm rambling at this point. So that's the video on this. Everything went well. I am restricted by nothing other than I can't lift anything. I can drive when I feel like I can drive now that I'm off the narcotics, and I can increase my activity levels as I feel as if I can increase the activity levels. There is no neck brace. There will be no neck brace. And so there you go. That's my story. So if you're watching this and you're facing down the surgery, if you have loved ones who are, you know, take a deep breath. It's if your experience is like mine, it's a cakewalk, and the pain is nothing like the discomfort that led up to it for the surgery. So that's it for now. Y'all take care. Please keep reading. I'm John Gilstrap. All right, I am 6 days post-op now, and this will probably be my last in this video series, such as it is, or the one very long 3-part video. Today was the big reveal. I took the bandage off my neck, and this is what remains. I don't know how well it shows there, but it's the incision goes from here to here. It's swollen. It's tender. It's not painful. Right now, at 6 days post-op, I am sleeping like a baby every night. It helps that I'm a natural back sleeper. If you're a stomach sleeper and you can't sleep otherwise, this could be a problem. But my wife calls me a coffin sleeper. I just sort of naturally lay out flat, and that's worked well for me. As far as residual difficulties, at 6 days, swallowing is much better than it was, but it's still not normal. I'm still a little nervous about anything that's not really pretty slimy, potatoes and eggs, that sort of thing. If I do have chicken or meat, then I make sure that I have a drink nearby to help it wash down. It just feels like it sort of gets stuck in the back of the throat, and the doctor tells me that's to be expected. As far as restrictions are concerned, I don't have any. At 6 days post-op, I can look up to here. I could go farther, but it hurt. I can look down. I can finally, after 6 days, I've always been able to look at my toes. I've always had that much mobility, but now I can actually see my belt, which is an extra couple of degrees. In terms of side mobility, I can go to here, which I think is pretty good. Over on the incision side, it gets caught where I don't feel safe to drive yet, simply because if we're going to make a left-hand turn, I can't see what's down there. But I can eat whatever I want. Just in small doses. My stamina isn't quite what it used to be. We went out to the mall yesterday just to walk around and to do a little bit of shopping, pick some stuff up. And I found that after about an hour and a half, I was ready for a nap. So we came home and I lay down and logged about 45 minutes of napping time. But then I was good until 11 o'clock last night. So, I don't know what to tell you. There are so many negative videos about ACDF surgery. I'm sure that everybody who has a negative experience is telling you the truth about their negative experience. But I want you to feel confident that for every one of those, I presume there's one like this. The scar, it looks like I survived a knife fight. I have to come up with a much better story as a storyteller of how I got this than going through surgery. But it's a remarkable thing. I am not a thin-necked man. In fact, I have like an 18-inch neck. And when I consider how deep the doc had to go after opening this up and then opening it up this way and then essentially going 2 or 3 knuckles deep into my neck, and to feel as well as I do now, I think is a truly remarkable experience. So listen, that's it. That's all I got. I've been rambling now. The last 2 have essentially been nothing but good news. I don't have any bad news other than residual tingling in my left thumb. Nothing like it used to be, but it's still there. It doesn't hurt. It tingles, as opposed to in the past where it would hurt. It felt like it got hit by a hammer. So that's where we are. I will stop talking now. I hope that if you go through this, you have as remarkably fine an experience as I have. And while you're in recovery, it's never a bad idea to read a good book. So I have some suggestions for you. Look for the name John Gilstrap in the title. That's it for me. You take care. You keep reading. I am John Gilstrap.